Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town, and today we're going to be opening up some ancient and Australian coins. So I got an interesting mix of coins in from a dealer here and was excited to open them up on camera. I've actually had this package sitting for a little bit over 2.5 months, so I vaguely remember what the topic was, but I can't remember a single coin that's inside, so that's what the fun is going to be now. Let's see. And in the meantime, we also had another awesome package of what should be German porcelain metals come in, and I'm so excited to open this one up. We've also got all the great coins in back of us, so these are all going to be the Australian coins, and then back here it looks like we got some of those awesome ancients, so cannot wait. I guess we'll get started maybe with the ancients, and we can try to do this kind of in time order. And so it looks like we have a mix of bronzes and then a tetradrachm at the back. And so if we go, and it looks like there's even some identification, but that's going to be a Macedon Philippi bronze, the Vic Og type, which would have been commemorating, I believe it is the win maybe against Julius Caesar's assassins by Octavian. I want to say that that's right. It looks like in back of it we have a Seleucus and Pieria, an Antiochian Caecilius Metellus, from around the lifetime of Christ, which is very exciting. So kind of Middle Eastern ancient coin. Right here we have a Gaul Nemesis, one of the crocodile, a Col Nem, Colnem. Huge fan of the two bust obverse there. Really fun coin. We then have an interesting Carthage Zugatinia, fairly worn, but it has that great horse on the front of it. Bronze from about the 3rd century BC. Looks like in back of it an Antiochian, a Philip the First bronze as well. Then we've got a Gallienus. I haven't seen this reverse type before, but nice looking coin from Caria. In front of it we have a Abulco from the 1st century BC. Spanish provincial coin, and it reminds me of a Carmo coin that I've once won, but fairly worn coin, and that makes sense. It's an ancient bronze. We've got another Carthaginian type with the horse there on the front. We have a Macedonian Amphiloton bronze. And then we've got what looks like another Spanish type. That one's in pretty decent shape. A solid looking horse. Then on that's interesting, a nice Numidian type. Though it looks like it was shaved or cut fairly solidly in half. Should be Massinissa or Messipsa from the 2nd century BC. I think we got a few of those. We have a Gallic type as well, and then let's see, a Numidian and another Carthaginian. So all very interesting. And then right here we have I think it's Antiochus the Great. It says Antiochoi Basileus, super clear, and just a beautiful obverse on this one. Really a fine coin, and I'm a big fan of it. Super fun, very nice little item there. And then let's see what else we can find behind it. The Australian stuff, I think I paid a total of $480 for, so I am like unboxing it with the lens of can I get some of that back. And so let's see if we start with what's over here. Are these a bunch of silver 3p? I think they are, and a lot of them in really nice shape, which is obviously exciting. 6p, those are a lot of sterling silver as well. These are all like, it's from a collection, but they seem to be in quite decent condition, which is honestly really nice when I'm thinking about them for a resale angle. Beautiful Queen Elizabeth 63, 62. Ooh, and we even have some earlier florins. I did not get a chance to look at these coins before I bought them, but these are pretty good shape again for what we're looking at in 1913. I mean, these have some for sure numismatic premium, and I'm pumped on just how many of these like medium to larger size sterling pieces we're going to get. Looks like almost a full date run. Maybe we're missing the 1918, but The condition on them is very solid. I've seen a lot of these coming super cleaned, that kind of thing. A little bit of a hole drilled in that one, but quite nice shape so far on that first batch, and I think we could be well on our way to recouping some of that value. These actually look pretty good as well. A halfpenny, that one's a bit cleaned, but nice kind of, that one has a little bit of kind of wood grain toning. Nice pennies, 1915, 16, 17. A good little date run. There's the two dots type, which I'm not sure how significant that's going to be. And then we have some of the older 3p. But again, like an AU, really nice lustrous coin from the 1900s, early 1900s in Australia is definitely a welcome sight here. Such good detail. I agree with the assessment that a lot of these are, even into XF, which is pretty fantastic if you ask me. We'll hope for a little bit more silver in this big batch of coins. Let's see what we can find, and it does seem like that's what we're going to be greeted by. And again, a lot of it in pretty decent condition. A proof 1957 3p is fun. Couple more of proofs, even if they're not silver. They're certainly pretty. I'm not sure. I honestly have no idea if they're silver or not. That 1961 looks silver though, so could be. But then in better shape like this, earlier ones are, I feel like it's gonna turn out to be very appealing from, paying 40, 80 for these, given that we'll be able to, these I'll try to sell to retail audiences. This is interesting, by the way. We would have struck while their operations were impacted at Denver and San Francisco. Coins in American mints at San Francisco and Denver, Colorado and California, for our allies in World War II. So that's an example of that coming into effect. I guess I'm constantly thinking about tariffs, so I guess those would not need to be tariffed, given that they were produced here if you were importing them. Here we have a couple more of the florins, which is just fantastic. 1927. Oh, we have the fun parliamentary florin as well, but 28, 34. This is really a great date run for anybody putting together, and all in nice sterling. Then we get into some of the World War years, 1942, 42S, San Francisco Mint. Oh, wow, and I forgot that there were some trades tokens. This one established 1820 in Sydney. This is like the equivalent of a hard times token, but I really have not been able to have any of these prior, and they're just fairly sought after items. 1858, Peace and Plenty. It looks like we're getting up to maybe, I'm not sure, Advanced Australia, maybe 4 of them, which is super nice. Those honestly could be some of the highlights of today's hunt. And basically there's a lot of different, call it hard times tokens, or tokens that would have stood in for periods where we didn't have tons of coins going around. So think like Civil War tokens when small change dried up, hard times in the 1830s or so in America, but you have the Condor tokens in the 1790s, and then again the 1810s in the United Kingdom. And so these are just examples of people would have been stepping in. This is right around that time, 1858, to strike copper coins with which to transact business and step in. So more along the same themes of just like really nice earlier Australian types. There's our first one, and it actually is worn quite attractively, I would say. And then let's pull a bunch over here. We've got more nice dates, 1920, with just a lot of great eye appeal on these. They really stand out in a nice way. 1924, 25, 26, 27. Yeah, just fantastic. 33, 31. I guess a couple of scratches on this one, but I don't know, very little to complain about. Just a bunch of beautiful Australian silver coinage here. So we got the ram's head, some proofs. Feeling good about this buy. And then I'm also excited for that German porcelain. It is fun to just see the wide gamut of stuff we get to be involved with here, buying and selling coins. Yeah, a bunch of interesting types. 1918, 1919, 1953, 54, 55, 56, all the way through here. Again, I'm almost 100% certain that those 60s coins are going to be silver. And then let's rip this one open. I thought that this was getting shipped to Texas, but it was not, which is great. And so we are going to... Actually, maybe I'll cut out once I have all the coins in front of me, but I think it's a bunch of German porcelain. And here is the $350 of porcelain that I've been super excited to unbox. And the fun thing is, in the past, I've mostly dealt with only 1920s ones, and we have a bunch of 1920s metals, but there's also some more modern ones. So I'll just start. These and these are all 1920s, and it looks like, you know, this is just fantastic post-World War I Meissen, and this Mädchenschule, so this is like school for younger women. This one is focused on somebody Hess, you know, with a interesting bell on the reverse of it, dated to 1923 during that hyperinflationary period. A Festung Königstein, not sure on the date there or on this one, which talks about Johann Friedrich Boccia. And so let's see what else we have. This one, earlier style, 1922, 1000 Jahr Feier, 1,000 years of something. And then this one looks like Reichsausschuss. I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to, but the best for the young, sports. This one is a 10 mark. And what is that? Somebody blowing a trumpet, it looks like. Ludwig Richter Fest, Meissen, in June of 1921. How interesting. Then over here, a couple more from the 20s. A couple of them are gilt. Same of the Ludwig Richter, but this one has a very interesting gold trim, which is really nice. Here's 1921. We've got another Meissen 10 mark, Liebe. You know, really a big fan, though, of all these different types of gilt styles. I've not seen, you know, most of these are totally new. That is a beautiful tree. It says Große Teuerung, something Nachung, and I'm not sure, but a Hungertaler 1922. Here is a Bach medal from 23, and just, again, about 100 years old, fantastic porcelain metallic art. Wish that people were striking these types of beautiful items today. I feel like that would be a really interesting practice. And I guess, I mean, there's nothing stopping me, right? Maybe I can go figure it out. 1922, this is German work from Dresden, was a beloved city that ultimately was bombed during World War II. And then two other medals, Museumburg. Like, these two, to me, at least this one, not as much. This one looks kind of classic, but this one looks like a more modern. Actually, these kind of both look a little more modern to me. I'm not exactly sure what time they would have been struck, but it also could be like 40s or 50s. So let's see. These all feel kind of that more modern, like 1971, or, you know, that one looks like it has some Dutch theming, 1968. The porcelain strike, this one's 1990. You know, the porcelain strikes are still very fun, 1948 in this example. But I think I really like the, you know, the ones that are like 100 years old. Not to say that there's anything wrong with these, but I feel like that 100-year-old can feel a little more vintage than like 60 or 70 years old. Let's think. There's a 74,000 years. But again, German porcelain of any type is exciting. There's dated to 1990 or so. Looks like the white porcelain version. And then last but not least of this batch of, call it $1,100-ish when I think about shipping, these are some metals that are not specifically dated, but they refer to Schloss Heidelberg. I think they're all the same, but struck in black, brown, and white porcelain. I'd be really curious to figure out when these were struck, but the interesting medallic journey that I've been finding myself on continues here. So very fun, and we'll look forward to, you know, continuing to stay, I guess, updated and see what we've got here. in the coming months. This one I think was a pretty sweet mix, and I'll look forward to the next as well.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to head on over to treasuretown.com and sign up for our email list to stay up to date on everything that's happening, whether it's auction updates, exciting new inventory drops, coin collecting news, or general informational resources. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on another one.